All right, what's going on, everybody? KB Card Stacks here. I have had the best week of sales ever. Yet again, this is 3 straight weeks. I sold my biggest card ever. Let's talk about it. All right, so 3 weeks ago, I had my biggest weekend on eBay. I think it was like 1,100. The week after that, I had 1,200. Now I'm at 1,300. Half of it came from 2 cards, but let's just get right to it, talk about what moved and my thoughts. Davison Igbenosum. This was $3, pulled it from a blaster, nothing crazy. This was one of my most watched cards. I don't know, Ohio State collectors. They're good to sell too. DJ Lagway, Red, Prism, Ice, Panini National. I don't know what the gold packs. I don't know what really the format was from these. I think they came from the VIP packages. I don't know. At the National. Sold this for $50. Lagway was a guy I was buying all summer. I was hoping Graham Mertz would be healthy. No one had any expectations for Florida to win over 3 games. Outside, they're in a tough situation because they always have Florida State and Miami as non-conference. And then you get maybe a Samford or Charlotte's or one of those random schools, an FCS team for sure. I was hopeful Lagway would sit all season, and then that creates this mystique around him for the following summer. Like, hey, first-year starter. He did have to go in. Graham Mertz got hurt. Lagway comes in. He played pretty well. So I think people are pretty high on him. Florida exceeding expectations. This one sold for $50. Whether I'd rather have this versus first Bowman versus his Panini Draft Prism, I don't really care. But I've got a lot of these. I've got a lot of greens, pinks, reds. I think I have some black, gold, yellows. So they've been moving well for me, which is good to know. DJ Uyunglele, $3 on the refractor, which I'll take. Florida State, he's kind of hard to hit, I feel like. There was somebody talking about that where, prior to the season, he was probably a big chase for a lot of people just with Florida State. I was never high on them. I'm not high on him. But $3 on the refractor. His base autos in the update set, probably about $10. I've seen the orange listed at like $20. Buy it now, which is kind of crazy, but that's just where we are with his market and how their season went. Shadur Sanders, PSA 10 green auto. My biggest sale ever. Sold this for $600. I bought this about a year ago, probably about 150-ish maybe. I have no clue. I bought it on Twitter. I don't think I was shopping it around at the state show, but I brought it. And then someone in the Discord was like, hey, what are you picking up? And I showed this Shadur Sanders, like, dude, this looks like a gem. And I'm like, what? So dropped it off to DT Sports immediately, just walked it right over at his table. Like, hey, I'm gonna drop this off. Came back a gem. I listed it for $600 as soon as I got it, and it's just been sitting there. I didn't even ever really think about it. It was just in my back pocket. It was in the back of my head, but it was never something where I'm like, oh, something that I don't know. I think I'm just in a good position on it. I believe in Shadur. I think he's number 1 off the board. Come draft time, could this be a 800? Maybe. Does it hit over 1,000? I don't know. Sure, but do I wish I raised the price? Maybe, I guess, considering some sapphires and other color non-auto stuff is probably in the 2-ish hundred range at some point. I don't know, but $600 on that, I will take it. Nice little grade flip there. Then the other big sale here, Superfractor 101. Sam Hartman. I picked this up probably about a year ago. I bought it just for draft, not even hype, but I was like, hey, maybe he gets a 5th round spot, can do something in the preseason, can get some hype. He's played a lot of football. His draft stock kind of tanked at Notre Dame, I would argue. Goes undrafted. He does go to the Commanders, and I think he signed like the largest priority free agent deal ever. I think it was somewhat significant. I don't really know if he's on the roster or practice squad. But I got this on ComC for about $120. I think I listed it for like $250. I was getting offers at around $120 all the time. Just decided to ship it home. Listed it here. Was sending out offers, $150 to $200 all the time. Got an offer for $150. Decided to move on. I don't know, making $10, $15 on the super. So I'll take it. Just rather put my $125, $30 into something else. Some Desirable. I picked 3 of these up at $1 a piece. Combined shipping, I think like $8. I sold one for like 10 or 12. This one sold for 8. I've got one more that I'm into for nothing, which is nice. Some Desirable at Georgia. I haven't really looked up his stats or what he's been doing, but there's that. Sam Levitt. So this was kind of my worst nightmare, Arizona State in the college football playoffs, but for some reason, I had $7 in my FanDuel account, and I just started rolling it on Moneyline for the last like 6-7 weeks. Whenever ASU just started getting hot, I've turned that $7 into like 133. I put like $60 on them to beat Iowa State this last weekend, and it paid off. That was my bit. I normally like a $5 bet max, maybe 10 if I'm really loving it. Then I started buying Sam Levitt autos. I started picking these up at about 15 to 20-ish dollars a piece. This one sold for $50 in the middle of the Big 12 championship game, so I was super happy with that. I've got a tie-dye to 25 out of like Electrum, and then I think I've got another one incoming. So I'm not super optimistic for ASU, just long-term even. Once Scadaboo leaves, I'm like, I think that's kind of it. They've done a tremendous job with the valuations and portal and all of that, but I just don't know if it's long-term. But people are high on Sam Levitt. Maybe not high, but he's young, so we'll see. 4-star kid from Michigan State. I'm not a huge believer, but if ASU is going to continue to win, I might as well try to profit. Byron Brown, 1 of 1. I picked this up like the day this product released. I think Leaf is a great set to buy very close to release date just because a lot of people don't know the names. Byram was a big name going into the season. I'd say like fantasy football drafts, he was a top 5 pick. Just been hurt. He reminds me of Jalen Daniels in that kind of arc. Like if he stays healthy, he could be electric. He had a great redshirt freshman year. Down year, injured, just couldn't stay healthy, just disappointing on all accounts. I'm probably losing money on this, but with him being in Bowman, I would prefer the Bowman first and the licensing. So nothing crazy there, but that's that one. All right, Acropolis. I hate this card. Just the text looks very like Microsoft Word. The design looks very Microsoft Paint, Microsoft Word. I just don't get how Topps isn't getting clowned on for this. It's really bad, but that one sold for $3. All right, 2 Dylan Gabriel cards. I went heavy on Dylan Gabriel. I went heavy on these first in the offseason. I was buying them $20-$30 a piece. Kind of went anywhere from 50 to 75-ish. I've sold one at 75. This one I think was 75 or 85. I jumped my last 2 up to 95. I've got a SGC 95. I've got 2 of the National Trading Card Day autos. Those, I don't know. I bought it in a lot with these. I need to figure out where my position is so that I know how much I'm into that auto. I had a $400 sale on that one. It did not pass eBay authenticity for one of the most bogus minor issues. And I talked to the rep, and he's like, yeah, it was just enough for us to call it out and cancel the sale. So that was, I think, 15. That was 75, 85. I'm still riding Oregon and Dylan Gabriel. I think they're going to win it all. And part of me is like, maybe he's got a good pro day in him. That could shoot him up boards. Maybe a J.J. McCarthy situation, a Zach Wilson, maybe a nice little hype throw. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Blackout on it. Just wanted to get rid of this. I paid $3 in shipping for this. I had the whole snafu with on it. I think they're a terrible company. But I got a lot of messages and like, what is this card? Has this set been released? And I had to explain, like, no, I don't think so. So this is it. Sold it for $10. That's it. It's Harold Perkins. There we go. Another one of these. I think this one, I think I might have taken an offer at 10, 15. I don't know. But I still have a ton of these that I'm trying to get rid of. Another Oregon guy, Jurion Dickey, Gold Shimmer. I don't know how much I paid for it. I'd hope about under $10. I'll have to go back and look. I don't even know where I bought it from. But Jurion just not a guy, it seems. A 5-star kid out of Menlo Park. Same high school as Troy Franklin. But just injured all last season. Had a good bowl season. Everyone was like, hey, if this guy is healthy, he looks really good. Had a good spring. Everyone was like, whoa, look out, Jurion Dickey. And I was like, all right, I think it's worth a gamble at that point. And then I think he gets hurt again in fall camp. And then they had a lot of injuries this season. Tez Johnson, I think, was out for a couple of games. And he just never even cracked the rotation. So took an offer at 10. Jurion, if he hasn't hit the portal, he needs to. So we'll see. Jackson Arnold, probably my second or third best pull out of my 4 hobby boxes. Cool card in the portal. It looks like Mississippi State might be the move. I know Lebby was his OC at OU and then takes the Mississippi State job. That's a team that I'm watching in the portal. I really like just the competitiveness. I think that's a really terrible Power 4 roster. Like them and UCLA are probably 2 of the worst teams in the country, but they were competitive with a lot of teams. So I think Mississippi State is kind of on that Georgia Tech, South Carolina. They're a year away from being great. if Jackson Arnold goes in, I think that definitely helps. I'd look out in 2026, but obviously I'll check comps. I got an offer for 40, and I was like, I feel like that's fair. I might as well get rid of it. He was rumored Georgia. That just doesn't make sense to me. So Mississippi State might be the play. I thought USC might be interested as well, but we'll see. Trevor Etienne, I think this sold for $7. Not an Etienne guy. It's just color, non-auto. You could probably pick up some autos of his for about $7. So decided to take that offer. JJ Watt, I was buying a ton of these during, I don't know, October, November. I just went on a big Topps Chrome defensive player kick. People don't like buying defensive players. I understand that. But there are some guys like JJ Watt, Aaron Donald, like they've got a pretty strong market, future Hall of Famers. So it was just by mere coincidence that I was buying JJ Watt that week, and I saw two of his refractors at $15 a piece. Those can do anywhere from 20 to 30. This one sold for $35 shipped. I have another copy. Might keep it. I don't know. I don't even know when he's eligible for the Hall of Fame, but yeah, I like buying the defensive Hall of Fame guys. I think it's worth a shot. Will Campbell took an offer at $2. I'm not gonna not take an offer at that point. I think you net 73 cents at that point, so that's nice. Eric Singleton hit the portal. I was kind of bummed. I'm high on Georgia Tech for next season. I was high on them this summer, and I'm like, hey, this is going to be the best 4 or 5 win team in the country. Their defense is terrible. I think they figured it out. They got a new defense coordinator, and I like what he does. This sucks, though. This is a big blow for them. I think he already had visits or interest lined up for Georgia, Florida, Auburn maybe. I don't know. But he's going to be someone I'm watching. Transfer jersey is going to hurt for sure. I hope he goes to the right school and gets utilized. Like a Georgia might be decent. I don't know, because it's Georgia Tech, so that's rivalry. I don't know. Like a Florida. Florida's a great spot right now. You've got a nice young quarterback. I think they got a lot of momentum. I think they can sling it with Lagway. So it'll be interesting to see. Hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle and pick a bad school. Path to Glory, Riley Leonard. This was like $2, I think. Again, just I'm not going to maximize my value on it. Just if someone wants to pay me for it, cool. And then last one here, Antonio Williams, Gold Lava Auto, PSA 10. I picked this up in the offseason. I'm not an Antonio Williams guy, but a couple people were like, man, he's the best buy in the hobby right now. He's, he's just been injured his whole career, just lower body, hasn't completed the season. Now this year he stayed healthy. Cade Klubnik's having a tremendous year. I think he should be in the top 7-ish for the Heisman. No one really cares about Clemson or Cade Klubnik at the moment, but he's having a pretty solid year. He stayed healthy, had a good week 1 versus Georgia, and just been putting up some numbers with Cade Klubnik. So seems like Garrett Riley's figuring it out. I feel like Cade Klubnik's figuring it out. They don't use the portal, so I'm interested to see what they do next year. I think that could be a team to watch. I don't think Antonio would even consider going to the draft. I don't know. That would kind of be a reach. But again, I don't like his injury history, so it is what it is. But I think I paid $40, sold it for $85. I got an offer for $70, actually. I was at a work happy hour last night. I saw it come through. I was going to accept after on our drive home, and they just bought it outright, so that was cool. So again, 1,300-ish in sales, my biggest weekend ever. Once again, sold my biggest card ever, $600 on the Shadur. We're gonna keep it moving. They tell me college cards don't sell, but say a prayer to the haters. If you enjoyed, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next one. Peace, love you.